7 mistakes buyers make before stepping into an open home. Most buyers make at least 3 of these mistakes, and they don't find out until they've already signed a contract. I am Perry Matt. I am a full-time buyer's agent in Sydney. I've negotiated 100 of deals all across Sydney, from first home buyer to $35 million luxury home. I operate in the most competitive marketplace in Sydney and in the country. I've been featured in the AFR, the Daily Telegraph, and today I'm giving you the exact checklist I go through with every single client before they step into their first open home. So 7 mistakes, we're gonna go through all of them. Some of these will surprise you, and if you have already bought a property, I guarantee you made at least one of these. Mistake number 1, falling in love with the listing photo. This one gets almost everyone. There is a reason they stage the property. There is a reason they call professional photographers, because they need to get the best light, the best angle to maximize the image of the property. So you're scrolling to domainandrealestate.com at 10 p.m. at night. You see the property. The photo looks stunning. Warm light, wide angle, beautiful styling, and you are already mentally moving in. So this is what you need to understand about the listing photography. It's a marketing product. It's not a documentary. Wide angle lenses make the room bigger than they are. Styling hides layout problems. And they're very good in maximizing the best points of the house and shadowing the dirty secrets, the dated kitchen, the holes on the floor. How about the drone shots? They make the property look like it's surrounded by nature, when maybe next to it you got a car park of Kmart. What I'm trying to say is, do not get too excited, because getting pumped about the property is great, but excitement before inspection can become a liability. So before walking into that open home, take a look at that floor plan, not just the photos. Check the property size, not the room styling, and look at what is not in the photos, because that's where the problem hides. So make a list of 3 things you want to verify, physically verify, before you go to an inspection. Treat the open home as a fact check mission, not a tour. Mistake number 2, not researching the selling agent. This one cost buyers tens of thousands of dollars. Let me give you a real example. I had a client, a young couple, first home buyer, budget around 1.5 million, and they were looking to buy in Paddington, here in Sydney. They walked into an open home and they got very excited. And when the real estate agent asked, so what's your budget? They told to the real estate agent the full amount, $1.5 million. That's the max. The vendor's guide was $1.3 million. That one conversation shifted the entire negotiation, because now the real estate agents knew exactly how hard they could push. So here it is what they didn't know. If they spend 20 minutes researching the real estate agent beforehand, they would have known he was one of the most aggressive negotiators in the Inner East, known for using buyers' information against them. Every real estate agent has a reputation, and like every industry, there are some phenomenal real estate agents that I highly respect and I highly admire, and there are others real estate agents that are like, everyone has a style. Some are more collaborative, some are very aggressive, and every time I negotiate against them, they come across like it's a war. Some of them, they will lowball the price guide to create competition, and some of them will tell you we have 5 other offers, when the truth is there are 0. So knowing who you're dealing with before walking in can change everything about how you behave inside the open home. So the solution is Google the real estate agent name, find the recent sales on realestate.com and domain, look at their sold prices versus the asking price, and they tell you how they operate. If you know people who have already bought in the area that you may know in your network, and never, ever walk into an open home cold. Be prepared. Mistake number 3, going to open homes without actually knowing your borrowing ceiling. Yes, you would be surprised about this, how many people do that. So you've got a rough idea about your budget. Maybe your broker said somewhere around 1.4. So you start going out there and checking houses. So here is the problem. What most buyers don't realize is that different lenders assess the same income in different way. I remember, in my case, I went through a broker that my borrowing capacity was 1.5 when I bought my property. And there was another broker that was able to get me $1.7 million. So 1.5 to 1.7 means a completely type of a house. $200,000 difference. And especially if you are self-employed and you have an ABN, or if part of your income is bonuses or commissions. I've seen clients that come to me where they thought they had 1.2. I introduced them another broker, which is one of the best in the country, and they could push up to 1.5. Doesn't mean you need to push to your limit, but it's important to understand that a property is worth 1.2 is different from a property worth 1.5. And there is a reason certain property cost more. That's a completely different property market. So before you step into an open home, you need to know your max borrowing capacity. And my suggestion, you need to speak with 2, maybe 3 good, reputable mortgage brokers. So consult a mortgage broker, not just the bank directly, because broker can leverage every single lender's in the country. And as we speak, there should be more than 40 different lenders right now. Know your numbers before you fall in love with a property that you can't buy. Mistake number 4 is skipping comparable sales. CMA report, comparable market analysis. So check the comparable sales, ideally on the same street, and answering them to the asking price. So this is something that a lot of buyers don't realize. The price on a listing is not the market value. It's a marketing decision. The price guide is a marketing tool to get as many people on board as possible and use them as a stepstone to the one who pays the most. When I work with my clients, I don't mention price guide, I mention how much is the property worth. Some agents underquote to create competition. Because at the end of the day, real estate agents, they work for the vendor. They have vendors' best interest. And there are some agents overquote because certain vendors are not realistic. And there are some price guides that are pretty accurate. As I mentioned before, it is important to understand the patterns that the real estate agents uses. Certain guides are accurate, certain guides are low, which is what commonly happens. And sometimes the guide is too high. I bought a property in Clovelly for a client. The price guide was 7.5. The property in my eyes was worth 11 million. We ended up buying for 10 million for 25. The fact is, my clients, if they were not there without me, they would never bought the property. So I did an actual valuation of the property, and I mentally prepared them because that's what's going to happen at auction. And we did end up buying. If you walk into an open home and the only price reference you have is the price guide, you are negotiating blind. And negotiating blind always costs money. So happened to me recently. I bought a property in Clovelly where the price guide was 7.5 million. Big block of land, close to the beach, fantastic home. So I did the comparable market analysis on a property that I was trying to buy for a client in Clovelly. The price guide was 7.5 million. It looked reasonable on the surface. But when I pull out the last 6 comparable sales in the same street, adjusted for size, aspect, and renovation quality, the real range was to 10 to 11 million. The buyer I was working with, they came to me and they said, hey, I need you to help me to buy this property, literally last minute. And when they realized how much is actually the property worth, they were kind of a shock. Now, we were successful at that auction, which is great, but I knew if I was not there, they would have never bought a property. They would be off guard at auction. They would be unprepared, and they would walk into an auction believing they could have bought it for 7.5 to 8 million. When the truth is, no chance. And happened to me the opposite as well. That's a case by case. This one is a property in Queen's Park and they wanted 4 million. After I did all the comparable sales, this property was not worth more than 3.7. I purposely told my clients to be patient and I did end up buy for 3,555. And I saved them nearly $200,000. So the solution is before every open home, pull at least 6 to 10 comparable sales, same suburbs, similar size, similar condition. Real estate and domain, they both have sold prices publicly and it's free. You don't have to pay for the expensive software. Spend that 20-30 minutes doing it. It will save you more money in negotiation. Mistake number 5, treating the open home like a casual browsing instead of an intelligence gathering mission. Most buyers walk into an open home like they are browsing a furniture store. This is not IKEA. We're buying a home. They move through the rooms, they nod, and they leave. And they've collected almost nothing useful. Here is how I think about an open home. It's a 15-20 minutes of maximum density intelligence gathering. So you want to leave knowing how long has this property been on the market and why. Has the vendors already rejected any offers? Is there a price expectation gap between the vendors and the real estate agent? What's the vendor situation? Are they motivated to sell or they're just testing the market? Are there any structural, legal, or strata issues that haven't been disclosed? How many genuine buyers are actually looking at this property? Because none of that information are on domain. All of this is available at an open home. So you want to use this time to gather valuable information. You just need to know what to ask and how to ask. So be nice with the real estate agent. And you also want to observe the property itself differently. So look up, not just around. Water stain on ceilings, crack near the window frames, check the wet areas, smell the bathrooms and laundry, check the doors, windows, are they functional? By your eyes at the open home will tell you if it's worth ordering a pest and bill report or strata report or not. So write down 5 questions to ask the real estate agent and 5 things to physically check before you arrive. So you literally walk in with a purpose, you walk out with the data. Mistake number 6, telling the real estate agent your timeline and why you are buying. Now, it's important to let the real estate agent know that you are a serious buyer, but it's important to not give them all the card. Information asymmetry is very important right now because this information can be used to your disadvantage. But if you use them to your advantage, it can save you a lot of money. So this follows directly to the previous one. The real estate agent works for the vendor, not you. The real estate agent job is to get the highest possible price. That's their job. They work for the vendor. And the single most powerful tool they have, information you volunteer. Oh, we've been looking for 8 months. So now they know you are a little bit more desperate. Oh, we need to be in before Christmas. Now they have a deadline to use against you. Oh, our budget is 10 million. Now they're gonna go, they push for high. So I've been lucky enough to deal with one of the best real estate agents in the country. I've been negotiating against and with them a few times. I've been dealing with the best real estate agents in Sydney and the country. Few of them are the top 2 in the country. And the best one are extraordinary getting buyers to talk. They are warm. They are friendly. They are expert. They ask great questions. That's not an accident. That's training. Now, you don't want to work against them because you want to buy the property. Be friendly, be human, but understand the line where you do not need to give too much information. Give the right information, don't give too much. When the real estate agent asks what your budget is, I always like to give 10, 15, maybe 20% less of what I have. But I want to make sure that this property is something that I can afford. I know what's the price guide. I know what the value is. I have in mind what the price is going to land. Because at the same time, real estate agent want to qualify you and they want to understand, am I wasting my time with these buyers or not? So when I tell my client's budget, if the maximum budget is 30 million, I tell them that my clients have 27 max. I always like to have a buffer just in case. Be polite, be professional, and not disrespectful. Mistake number 7 is to wait until you are ready and losing the right property to a better prepared buyer. In the area that I operate the most, which is the most competitive in the country, eastern suburbs, speed can save you a lot of money. This is something that nobody talks about, but it may be the most expensive one. I see this all the time, especially in competitive pocket like the eastern suburbs of Sydney. Buyer finds the right property, the right suburbs, the right size, the right feel, but they are not quite ready. The finance is not formal, they haven't done enough research, they haven't spoken to a solicitor, so they wait. They go back for a second inspection, they keep thinking about it, but someone else who did the preparation buys it in 24, 48 hours. The Sydney property market does not reward hesitation. It rewards preparation. The buyers who win at every price point in every market are not the one with most money. They are the ones who did the work before the opportunity arrived. Finance ready, legal ready, decision framework clear. So when the right property come up, the answer is yes. Not maybe, give us a week, let me think about it. I worked with buyers, they've been saying they've been almost ready for 2 years. And after they sign up with me, and after 3 months, I find them the property. The 2 years they've been waiting and they've been thinking cost them a lot of money. And I've watched them, before they sign up with me, lose property after property to people who simply were better prepared. This video is part of their preparation. So make sure you have a formal pre-approval, a solicitor you can call the same day, and the clear written brief of exactly what you are buying and why. That's a minimum, and it's not hard to set up. For majority of people, buying a home is one of the most expensive exercise in the lifetime. You want to make sure you don't mess it up. You better be prepared. So there they are, the 7 mistakes, and most of them happen before you've even shaken the agent hand. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these have you made, or which one are you worried about? Drop it in the comment below. I'll read every single one and I'll give a specific answer to your situation. And if you want me to cover any other part of the buying process, negotiation, off-market access, how to read a contract, tell me in the comment and I'll make the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, because next week I'm gonna show you exactly how buyers overpay and how to make sure you are not one of them.